You know what absolutely grinds my gears? The WWE Universe sitting here, pretending like they didn't spend years, literal years, begging for the Shield reunion, only to turn around and hate on Seth Rollins the second he even breathes near Roman Reigns. And now that these two absolute titans have finally put their egos aside to handle business against Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, half of you are in the comments crying about forced storytelling and predictable booking. Are you kidding me right now? This is exactly what professional wrestling is about. This is the essence of storytelling that made us fall in love with this business in the first place. But no, some of you would rather complain than appreciate absolute cinema unfolding right before your eyes. Let me ask you something, and I want you to drop your answer in the comments right now. When was the last time WWE gave us a reunion that felt this earned, this necessary, this absolutely perfect in its execution? I'll wait. Let's rewind the clock for a second because context is everything here. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, these aren't just two random superstars crossing paths backstage. These are two men whose histories are so intertwined, so deeply connected, that their relationship defines an entire era of WWE programming. The Shield, the most dominant faction of the 2010s. Three men who took WWE by storm, who held this company hostage with their brotherhood and their dominance. But what happened? Seth Rollins, the architect, drove a chair into the backs of his brothers. He shattered the foundation. He chose ambition over loyalty, and that single moment in June 2014 sent shockwaves through the WWE universe that we're still feeling today. Now here's the thing, did Seth make the wrong choice? Drop your thoughts below because this is where it gets spicy. Seth became a multiple-time world champion. He main-event WrestleManias. He became the face of Monday Night Raw. His betrayal, it launched his career into the stratosphere. But at what cost? Roman Reigns took a different path. After the Shield broke up, Roman struggled. The WWE Universe turned on him. They rejected the coronation. They rejected the push. But Roman evolved. He became the tribal chief. He acknowledged his position at the head of the table. He became the most dominant WWE champion of this generation, holding that title for 1,316 days, longer than Bruno Sammartino's second reign, longer than Hulk Hogan, longer than almost anyone in modern WWE history. And where was Seth during all of this? Fighting his own battles, defending his own titles, proving his own worth. These two men existed in separate universes, occasionally colliding but never truly reconnecting. Until Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed decided to make the biggest mistake of their careers. Here's what these young guns didn't understand: you don't poke the bear. You especially don't poke two bears who have spent years establishing themselves as the absolute apex predators of WWE. Bron Breakker, second-generation superstar, physical specimen, genetic perfection personified, thought his youth and his aggression could carry him through anyone. Bronson Reed, the colossal tsunami of devastation, believed his size and his brutality made him untouchable. They were wrong, dead wrong. Quick question for the comments, who do you think is more dangerous, Bron Breakker with his youth and athleticism, or Bronson Reed with his size and power? Let me know below. But here's what really set this whole thing off, the disrespect. These two decided that legacy meant nothing. They decided that the names Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns were just relics of the past, dinosaurs waiting to be put out to pasture by the new generation. And that's where they miscalculated everything. Picture this: Seth Rollins, banged up from yet another war, standing in the middle of the ring cutting a promo about how he's given everything to WWE. Blood, sweat, tears, his body, all of it sacrificed on the altar of sports entertainment excellence. And then Bron Breakker's music hits. The second-generation superstar storms down the ramp with that cocky smirk, that arrogant confidence that only comes from someone who hasn't been truly humbled yet. The beatdown starts. Breakker is relentless. He's hitting spears that would make Goldberg proud. He's throwing Seth around like a rag doll. And just when you think it can't get worse, Bronson Reed's music hits. The lights dim. The crowd erupts. And this absolute unit of a human being makes his way to the ring. Now Seth's in trouble. Real trouble. 2-on-1 odds against two of the most physically imposing superstars on the roster. Reed climbs to the top rope, all 330 pounds of him, and you know what's coming. The tsunami. The move that has ended careers and broken bodies. Seth Rollins is about to be destroyed. I need you to tell me in the comments what went through your mind the second you heard that familiar theme, because the arena exploded. The WWE Universe lost their minds. And standing at the top of the ramp, with that same intensity, that same aura of absolute dominance, Roman Reigns. The tribal chief has arrived. But here's the kicker: this isn't 2014 Roman. This isn't even 2020 Roman. This is the final boss. This is the man who has conquered everyone. The man who has nothing left to prove. And he's here for one reason and one reason only, to remind Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed exactly who runs WWE. Roman's music hits and the entire dynamic shifts. Breakker and Reed, who moments ago looked like unstoppable forces, suddenly look concerned. They should be, because walking down that ramp isn't just Roman Reigns, it's the entire weight of WWE history. It's every title reign, every main event, every epic moment personified in one man. The reunion. Roman slides into the ring and the stare down happens. Roman and Seth, eye to eye. The tribal chief and the visionary, the two men who built the Shield, the two men who tore it apart, the two men who have spent years as rivals, as enemies, as brothers at war. Bronson Reed charges. Superman punch from Roman. Bron Breakker follows. Curb stomp from Seth. And just like that, the two most decorated superstars of this generation are united. The chemistry, instant. The trust, still there. The brotherhood, it never really left. Reed gets back up, spear from Roman. Breakker tries to recover, pedigree from Seth. Back and forth, these two legends systematically dismantle the two monsters who thought they could bully their way to the top. Every move is crisp. Every sequence is perfection. This is what happens when you combine Roman's raw power with Seth's technical brilliance. Here's a question for the hardcore fans: Prime Shield or solo Roman and Seth, who wins in a tag team match? Comment below. But they are not done. Not even close. Because this isn't just about winning a fight. This is about sending a message. Reed is set up in the corner, coast to coast from Roman, crashing into him with devastating impact. Breakker is pulled to his feet, Seth hits a falcon arrow, and as Breakker gasps for air, Roman follows up with a second spear that nearly breaks him in half. The crowd is on their feet. The commentary team is losing their minds. And Seth and Roman? They are standing tall in the center of the ring, not as enemies, not as rivals, but as brothers. The Shield brotherhood that we thought was dead and buried has been resurrected, and it's more powerful than ever. As Breakker and Reed lay motionless in the ring, Roman and Seth stand back to back, surveying the destruction they've caused. This isn't about nostalgia. This isn't about living in the past. This is about two absolute legends reminding everyone, the locker room, the WWE Universe, the world, that you don't get to disrespect legacy. You don't get to dismiss greatness. And you definitely don't get to think that youth and aggression can overcome experience and brotherhood. Bron Breakker will recover. Bronson Reed will come back. But they'll never forget the night they learned the hardest lesson in professional wrestling: respect your elders, or get destroyed by them. So what does this mean moving forward? Are we getting a full Shield reunion with Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley, eventually returning? Are Seth and Roman going to reform their brotherhood permanently, or is this a temporary alliance? And most importantly, who's next? Who's going to be brave enough, or stupid enough, to challenge these two titans now that they are on the same page? Final question for you: do you want to see Seth and Roman as a permanent tag team, or should this be a one-time thing? Let me know in the comments. Look, at the end of the day, this is why we watch WWE. Not for the predictable storylines, not for the corporate speak, but for moments like this. Moments when everything aligns perfectly, when storytelling meets athleticism, when history collides with the present, when two of the greatest superstars of this generation put aside their differences to remind us all why they are at the top of this business. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns just sent shockwaves through WWE. Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed learned a lesson they'll never forget. And the WWE Universe? We just witnessed something special. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe to Wrestling Zone 1 for more explosive content, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Should Seth and Roman stay together? Was this the right move? And who should they target next? Until next time, this is Wrestling Zone 1, and remember, in WWE, anything can happen.